Hello everyone, this is Shrine of More Let's Play of a visual novel called Your Dry Delight. It is a free visual novel from Argent Games that's really pretty cool. It's set in the 1920s during the Prohibition era, and you play as Richter, a police detective who is trying his best to stop people from drinking since it's illegal right now. This game is a romance visual novel, BL, Yaoi, whatever you want to call it. So if you're not into that, you might not want to watch this video. Totally understand, no problems. But if you want to see it, it'll be pretty fun, I hope. Aside from those distracting thoughts, though, my bakery trip is an uneventful one. Prize cargo in hand, I end up at the Speakeasy just as night's setting in. So Richter is going on his second night at the Speakeasy to meet with a certain man named Myers. Welcome, sir. Please enjoy your night. Thank you, Mr. Doorman. I will try. The doorman gives his customary greeting, and I casually nod while stepping past. And that is Richter. Our main character, August Richter, actually. Here I am, a detective on a risky job, shuffling into a speakeasy with a cake and a paper bag, like some kid holding onto a school lunch. Not my finest moment. The place is packed full, just like last night, which means I can't really pick Meyer out easily. I guess if I hang around the bar long enough, maybe he'll show up. Oh, it's Mr. Jack. A coarse voice different from Myers growls out behind me. Oh, it's someone else. Who are you? I turn to see one of the rough-looking men I noticed last night staring at me suspiciously. I'm gonna pat you down, make sure you aren't healed, understand? Pretty sure healed would mean armed, but just in case, healed refers to being armed, usually with a gun, like packing heat, would refer to later on. The earliest usage was around 1866. Ooh, that is early. Okay, healed. So this game does have a little glossary system, so you can check out some words if you just want to make sure you got them correct. What? No one did this to me last night. What's the big deal? Would you shut up? I'm not here to answer questions. Before I have a chance to protest further, he grabs me and starts patting my pockets, roughly feeling around. Sorry, buddy, I'm going to be taking this for tonight. The man pulls out the piece I've been carrying as insurance, just in case things went south. Took my gun. Well, now I feel even more like a defenseless kid. Great. Just don't pull any dumb moves and you'll be fine. I like to keep things real cordial around here. Got it. Yeah, I got it. Good. Don't be heading to the back room. Whatever you... Wait, the back room? Where are you taking me? Wait. Why aren't we in the bar with everyone else? The man suddenly grabs my wrist, pulling me along the speakeasy's perimeter. My heart starts to pound in my chest. What am I getting dragged into? I told the officers not to get close to the place unless I was gone for a while, but who knows what happened in the meantime. My semi-captor takes me to the back of the parlor and down a long, dark corridor. The music and laughter fade slowly into the distance, replaced by only the sound of our footsteps. Finally reach a large black door, and the man knocks firmly on it several times. Come in. Those look like books in the background, books and cases. The door opens in a warmly lit, spacious parlor. Not exactly the scary dank room I'm expecting. It's a lot more bright than I thought it'd be. And there, in the middle of the lush couch, sits the familiar tall man. Mr. Eastman, your friend's here. Yes, I can see that. Thank you for bringing him in. Make sure no one intrudes on us if you'd be so kind. Yes, sir. With a polite nod, the other man departs, closing the door behind him with a soft click. Once he's gone, Meyer and I stare at each other for a few seconds in silence. Yeah, this is different than last time. I can only think that this dramatic reintroduction was deliberate. He knows I can read the subtext. Well, I brought your cake. I lift the bag in my hand and shake it a little, laughing nervously. You're gonna mess up the cake if you keep shaking it around. I knew I could count on you. A pleased smile slowly spreads over his lips, and the sight makes me relax a little. He pats the couch beside him, and I don't exactly feel like I'm in a position to refuse. I approach and gently lower myself down, sinking into the soft cushions. Oh, he's real close now. Why, you're stiff as a sheet of glass. What's wrong, Jack? Your secretary back there wasn't exactly the most gentle of fellas. I apologize. They're used to dealing with coarser individuals than yourself, you see, and I forgot to tell them to use kid gloves. It's not that, I just wasn't quite expecting all of this. All of this? You mean a nice back room and a speakeasy? Harry gives me a fox innocent look. Yeah, that's it. Right, that's obviously what I was referring to. Anyway, here, your prize. I hope I didn't get smushed when your lackey was jostling me around. I offer Meyer the bag with the cake, and his eyes light up when he takes it from my hands. Wonderful, I can smell it already. Cake. Whoa, what? I don't know how to say that, sorry. Sisutsunin fremden Brit? My rabbi used to say. I like to pretend it doesn't apply to cakes. What doesn't apply to cakes? What does it mean? A German phrase that translates as it is hard to eat a stranger. It is hard to eat a stranger's bread. Oh, doesn't apply to cakes. Okay. Purportedly used by Jews in St. Louis, Missouri as of 1920. Okay, interesting. He gazes longingly at the bag for a moment, then sets it to one side. A smile finds its way onto my lips before I even realize it. The way he likes sweets so much really reminds me of Leslie. Oh, before I forget, I have something for you, Jack. You have something for me? Ooh. Meyer leans around the edge of the sofa, grunting softly before straightening back up with bottle in hand. Old Forester Kentucky Whiskey, the label reads. You remembered? That I picked whiskey instead of something sweet? I have an excellent memory, especially when it comes to people who catch my interest. He takes a glass from the table beside him and starts to pour me a drink, humming softly. I notice he's already got a half-empty cup of coffee for himself, black as the night. This is quality product right here. I promise there's no Eds involved. Oh, thank you, no Ed's bathtub mess. Meyer hands me the glass, letting his fingers brush against mine for a moment, longer than necessary. Thanks. You're quite the host. You expected anything less? I didn't expect the back room treatment. He turns a little bit on the sofa, propping on one elbow against the back so he can gaze at me head on. Feeling slightly embarrassed under his stare, I take a curious sip of the drink. Wow, it goes down so easy. Good enough that I can see we're not serving it out there. A man has to make a living, unfortunately. Buying and transporting high-quality goods is expensive, not to mention risky. I'd much prefer to serve good liquor over the common swill, but it's not quite feasible yet. He paused for a moment, a thoughtful moment, though his eyes flicked back to my face soon after. Well, about that information I owe you, assuming you're still interested in work. Oh, he's interested. As I nurse my drink, Meyer begins to describe the main Mafia figures in the city, along with the various rackets they keep in great detail. How does he know all this? Combined with everything else I've seen tonight, I think it confirms my suspicions. He's near the top of the underworld food chain in Cleveland. He's not even trying to hide it. In fact, I think he's just playing a game with me, seeing how far he can take this before one of us has to state the obvious. Knowing that, you would think I'd be incredibly uncomfortable right now, but for whatever reason, being around Meyer puts me completely at ease. Maybe it's just his charming, casual mannerisms or the soft and smooth way he speaks. There's nothing aggressive or thug-like about him. He's perfectly composed. Occasionally, he shifts on the sofa beside me, brushing my leg with his own in a way that I can't possibly be an accident. Okay. I can't tell what's going on behind his twinkling green eyes, but there's something playfully devious about the glances he keeps giving me. And I think that would make our trade just about even, no? I think you gave me a lot more than what was worth for cake, but okay, I'll take it. He finishes a thorough description of impish wink, taking a sip of his coffee. You sure are familiar with all the gang activity here, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd almost think you'd control some of it yourself. Me? I'm not sure why you lead... Why, I'm not sure what would lead you to such an outrageous conclusion. Instead of looking offended, though, Meyer presses him a little closer, his smirk suddenly growing mischievous. After all, it's rather rash to assume things about people you don't know particularly well. Don't you agree, Richter? Oh, the crap. Ah, the crap. He knows your name. How do you... He smugly lifts a cake bag, rustling before my face. Your name is on the label. A mistake I wouldn't expect from you if you pardon my rudeness. We distracted the time you purchased it. Dang it, you messed up, Richter. You messed up. I'm not about to mention I was daydreaming about him when I brought the cake. I think I'd rather just let my professional pride take the fall. Of course, I know you're a detective too, and I can guess why you're here. Well, he knows everything. But please, don't take it as a blow to your acting skills. I'm just well acquainted with a number of professional liars, you see. If you already know so much about me, why are you pouring me drinks rather than having me shot and dumped in an alley? Meyer clicks his tongue, lightly wagging a finger at me. Violence is not how I prefer to do business, Richter. It's only ever a temporary solution. Violence begets violence, which is why you have warring Italian crime families rather than one consolidated, powerful body. No, in most circumstances, I would much rather make friends than enemies. Friends like you, which is why you're not being dumped in an alley. Although, I would never harm a Shania Poonin like you, no matter what my moral code was. A what now? Yiddish phrase really means pretty face. Ah, you would never harm a pretty face. Okay. Totally flirting. He shifts on the sofa again, this time letting his leg stay resting against my own. I swallow, relieved at Meyer's explanation, but acutely aware of his face being a mere inches... Oh, come on. I swallow, relieved at Meyer's explanation, but acutely aware of his face being a mere few inches to my right. You certainly aren't like any other guy I've met, law-abiding or otherwise. Why don't you tell me more of what it's like being in this risky business? I clumsily attempt to slide the conversation in a direction, daring to glance over at Meyer. No, please. I know a one-sided agreement when I see one. With the gloating air of someone who's just caught their opponent cheating, Meyer shakes his head. I'll answer a few questions of yours, but only on the condition I can ask questions of my own. I swear on my honors, answer with the truth, and you'll do the same, but we can each avoid one question in exchange for a favor. Does that strike you as fair? I guess so. That sounds interesting. We're playing a question game. Question game. His tone casually rises up at the end, not so subtly daring me to accept. I think I'd be idiot to expect a businessman like yourself to play fair, but all right, I'll bite. That's what I like to hear. I can't do the deep voice. I can't do any voices. I try. Meyer gives me a rakish, teasing grin, all too pleased with my reply. As a gesture of goodwill, I'll even let you start. Really? How do you make any money with that kind of generosity? Oh, you'd be surprised. As Meyer chuckles to himself, I pause and ponder on what to ask. What I want to know about. So I can either ask him about his gang or about his history. I actually do want to make a quick save, because I kind of want to go back and see. So I'm going to ask about his history. Tell me about your background, your history. What was it like for you growing up? My question didn't catch Meyer off guard. I don't know more about him, but his surprise quickly shifts to a gentle, pleased expression. He nods in acknowledgement. I was raised in a cozy little Jewish community in Missouri, where I lived until a few years ago. Oh, so you're Jewish, okay. I'm sure you'll find this hard to believe, but I always kept to myself as a boy. I rarely spoke to anyone. I suppose you could say I was afraid of rejection. A rabbi was my closest friend. We ate corned beef sandwiches and talked about baseball on the weekends. Looking back now, I think he was just as lonely as I. He chuckled softly, gaze flickering down to the coffee table and lingering on his cup. I can't imagine Meyer ever being withdrawn. I guess he didn't develop his charisma until later. Several days after my bar mitzvah, a few boys who I'd never seen before approached me on the street. Meyer, they said, you're a tall, strong guy. Why the heck are you playing with the rabbi instead of making money? I realized I didn't have much of an answer. We formed a merry little crew. I was, enjoyable to have that kind of attention from my peers, and my desire to fit in was why I began doing jobs with them. Eventually, my name garnered a certain reputation. The association grew, people started looking up to me, and so I ended up on the top of it all. Meyer's eyes returned to me. I can't really read the true emotion behind them, nostalgia, regret, or satisfaction. The rabbi, you know whatever happened to him? We don't speak anymore. He gives me one of those brief, thin-lipped smiles. The kind you only show to be polite. Again, it's hard to see through what it means, but I can detect a low longing in his voice. He misses a friend. You know, I'd always separated mobsters from real people in my head. Like you were all just monsters who lost your humanity. But listening to you talk, I guess it makes me realize how we're not so different after all. Yeah, they're all human. I twirl my glass between my fingers, unsure if that knowledge makes me more happy or grim. Meyer studies me in silence for a while. It's not an awkward silence, though, just a thoughtful one. Well, your turn. For a question. You have one. Oh, I have many. When the silence finally breaks, Meyer gives me a wiry grin, his eyes momentarily flickering down to my mouth. Yeah, I'm listening. All right. What's your greatest fear? My greatest fear? He nods, watching me expectantly. No immediate answer pops in my head, so I mull over the question for a moment. My greatest fear. Something that would keep me from sleeping at night. Hurting innocent people. Oh? I nod, forcing a brief awkward smile as he takes another sip of my drink. Might isn't anything further, though. Is he waiting for me to elaborate? I just think it's my duty, the duty of everyone in law enforcement, to make sure Americans are safe and happy. That's why we exist. It's not just a job for you to do for money. It's a job that lets you go home feeling better about the world. It's just a little bit. Meyer tilts his head a little to one side, eyes glimmering at me. Then his hand slips onto my shoulder, resting there gently for a few seconds before squeezing it. Very admirable, Richter. Can't say his name anymore. Although I have to wonder just where Volstead fits into that. He trails off curiously. Is he trying to lead me somewhere with that vague comment? Well, it's your turn, isn't it? Why don't you ask me something lighthearted? I don't mind if you get more personal. He leans in a little more, hands still lingering on my shoulder. Okay. Lighthearted and personal. Let's see. I can smell slight cologne and subtle, earthly scent of coffee. I've been trying desperately to keep my nerves under control, but it's getting harder and harder the more Meyer teases into my personal space. Ask if he has a lover. That's pretty darn personal, not that lighthearted in my opinion. That's what his favorite activity is. I want to ask if he has a lover. Do you, have a lover? A wife? You must, right? Being the cat's meow and all. The cat's meow? Really? No. What? Meyer responds casually, offering a little shrug when I shoot a glance over at him. Is my imagination, or does he look incredibly smug right now? Why are you wearing that expression? Are you so very surprised? Maybe you're relieved? No, it just surprises all. Really didn't think you'd still be a bachelor. And why is that? Because I'm the cat's meow? Can we just get on with the next question? He wants to tease you more. Pausing, Meyer makes a show of tapping a finger into his bottom lip, turning his eyes towards the ceiling. It's such an obvious display that I know for a fact he's already got his question picked out. He's just toying with me. I drain the last of my glass in an attempt to act casual, turn my head away slightly. Oh, you drank a whole glass of whiskey. I've got one. I've got it. What memory do you have of your first kiss? Please describe it in great detail. He wants to hear everything. I nearly choked on my drink. Yeah, so this is what he's playing all along? I'm listening very attentively. Hold on. Darn, I know this is what he wants me to say, but it'd be a cold day in hell before I tell this guy you've never properly kissed anyone before. Can I just trade the favor? He's totally have a blush on his face for that one. Oh? Don't feign surprise, you bastard. In that case, I suppose I'll take you up on that favor right now. I effectively squeeze my eyes shut, sucking in a breath. It feels like my chest is going to explode. Richter, what are you doing? Nothing, just freaking out. I reopened one eye to see Meyer staring at me quizzically. I thought he... No, of course he wouldn't. He's too much of a gentleman. Just got a little dizzy from drink. So, what do you want from me for the favor? Well, you probably think me a fool for saying this, but... Reaching for the bag at his right, Meyer lifts it up and sighs happily, slipping his hand inside to unwrap the cake. I'd like you to share it with me. Ooh, share some cake. Okay. That's not bad. Share? The cake. He nods, pulling back the paper wrapping to reveal the delicious-looking spongy white dessert. I'd feel guilty enjoying it by myself, especially considering you brought it for me. So I'd prefer we savor together. Does that sound agreeable? I haven't had things since lunch, so you're asking the right guy. So just cut in half or what? No. You're going to feed it to me. His face, like, what? Just totally changed. I blink at Meyer and if I heard him correctly. He gazes back at me calmly. I definitely didn't mishear that, did I? If you want, then, should I get a fork or... That won't be necessary. Come, take a bite. Meyer offers the cake to me along with a daring raise of his brow. I feel like I just walked right into a trap. But I knew that from the beginning, didn't I? Oh, you walked into something, all right. And I came out all the same, because I want it to happen. I take a small bite of the cake, letting the fluffy sweetness rest on my tongue. Then, Meyer gently curls a finger under my chin, gradually closing the distance between us. His chest presses against mine, pinning me to the back of the sofa. There's no need to be embarrassed, Richter. He breathes those words against my cheek, pulling my jaw down ever so slightly to part my lips. Oh. Okay. Slowly, delicately, he covers my mouth with his own. The sweet flavor mingles between our tongues, but my head feels so foggy that I can barely think about how it tastes. Meyer teases me with maddeningly light, soft kisses, pulling back a little bit each time I start to press forward. He's really trying to provoke me, isn't he? Well, it's working. I bite down hard on his lower lip, exhaling a hot, impatient breath. Momentarily, his chest presses harder against mine. His kisses suddenly grow more aggressive, hard and deep, so intense that I have to gasp for air whenever I can. I pull his coat off his shoulders, grasping neatly at his shirt, letting my hands wander all around his powerful body. Oh my. Just as his tongue starts to slip into my mouth, he pulls back again, this time breaking into a devilish grin. If I'd known you'd be so eager, I would have done this a lot sooner. Are we going to spend the whole night talking or share more of that cake? I can't disappoint my favorite detective now, can I? It would be horrible if you clapped me in shackles and brought me in for interrogation after all. You sound pretty excited about the idea, actually. And can you blame me? Meyer swipes a finger to the cake's icing, then presses it past my lips. I suckle on without hesitation, lapping the sweetness off his fingertip, a faint moan leaking from my throat before I contain it. Richter. Meyer suddenly leans in for another kiss, trailing his finger along my bottom lip. This time, he's the impatient one, his tongue pressing insistently against my lips until I part them. The release rolls inside my mouth, tangling with my own tongue as Meyer presses me roughly against the couch. Like he can't get enough of me, and I can't get enough of him. I grasp his hips and keep him pulled forward, wanting more and more. As we trade eager, wet kisses, my mind hazily wanders toward a certain question. What am I really doing here? Am I trying to live out some detective seduced by Mobster fantasy? Or is it like Meyer said? We're just two men outside of our opposite professions, saving each other's company. If Leslie could see me right now, I don't know what he'd think, or if I'd even find excusable. But if I'm so easily turned away from my duties by a gangster, maybe I was never cut out for this line of work to begin with. One of Meyer's hands drifts down my chest, slipping around my waist to squeeze my hip. I normally wouldn't do this on a first date, especially since I'd like to give you a reason to come back. Ely murmurs a string of words in between breathless kisses, not giving me a moment to reply. Doesn't feel like you'll need too much convincing. His fingertips tease along my inner thigh, sending shivers through me from head to toe. Just a little bit higher. A little higher. No, no, no. A frantic knock on the door makes both of us jerk apart. Meyer smoothed back his hair and clothes, sitting back and clearing his throat. Come in. The door flies open and one of Meyer's men bolts inside. Mr. Eastman! Mr. Eastman, there's a bunch of cops sniffling right outside the joint. There's cops everywhere. Oh, that's unfortunate. Dang it. I think something's about to go down if we don't stop them, Wait. Those are my guys. Take your precaution. Give you a wake-up call. I jump up from the sofa and we're kicking myself. Darn it, I should have told them to go home earlier. I lost track of time and crap, there's no excuse. It's all right, Richter. Meyer's gentle voice calls out to me reassuringly. Go put your men at ease. Maybe by some grand stroke of fate, you'll end up here again tomorrow. We can resume our talk. He puts one of his wickedly innocent smiles, winking at me. Thanks. I hope I can see you soon. You doubtlessly will. With a hasty nod, I turn and follow the older man to the door, smoothing back my own ruffled hair. Luckily for me, those officers probably aren't getting paid enough to ask many questions. Oh, and Richter. He calls it to me just as I'm about to cross the threshold, and I glance back at him. Don't forget what your real duty is. Good night. Now, what the world does that mean? Don't forget what your real duty is. His real duty is to arrest you. Meyer's man shuffles me along to the exit before I have a chance to reply. My real duty? What the heck does he mean by that? Maybe it doesn't mean anything, but those words stick in the back of my mind. Even as I leave the speakeasy to reassure the officers I'm all right and defuse the situation. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see Meyer tomorrow and ask him then. My heart's still pounding from the end of our talk. When I finally get home and roll into bed, there's no way I can fall asleep, so I spend the night restlessly tossing and turning. I'd be hangover than this. Infatuation doesn't fade away half as easy. Okay, so since that was quite a hot and heavy scene, I'm not used to having those on my games, I will stop this here for now for this episode. I do thank you so much for watching Your Dry Delight and hope you enjoy. And if you do like it, please like, comment, and subscribe so I'll know if it's something else I should be putting on my channel. But yeah, I thank you so much. My name is Shrine. Hope you have a good day. Bye.